Hi everyone, it's Kimber from Peak Fitness Studio coming to you with another kids yoga session. So the things you need today, boys and girls, your journal, your yoga mat if you have one. I don't have mine right now. That's okay. I'm on hardwood floor, so I should be good to go. And maybe if your moms or dads do yoga, I'd love for you to grab this yoga block is what it's called. If you don't have a yoga block, it's okay. You might want to grab a book that is about the same thickness as this. Maybe a carton of milk would work as well. Or if you think I'm pretty good at balancing, maybe you don't need anything at all. I like to use a yoga block when we do some balance work, which is something we're gonna do today. So again, if you have a yoga block, you guys can use mom or dad's yoga block. Maybe you have your own yoga block. If you do yoga, you can grab a book that will help stabilize your balance, or you could grab a milk carton would work as long as it's pretty full. So if you press on top of it, it stays in one place. Another idea you could do is if you have a weight, you can use the weight because it's kind of the same size as a yoga block. So these are things you can go and grab now, and then we'll meet back here to do a quick story and some journaling. Today in your journals, I want you guys to think about a time when you felt stuck. Maybe you were actually stuck somewhere with moms or dads. Maybe your car got stuck, or maybe you were stuck at the airport, or maybe you were stuck on a math problem. There's lots of different ways we can feel like we're stuck. I feel like I'm really stuck at home right now because we're in shelter in place still. So I'm kind of feeling stuck in that sense. So that would probably be something that I would write about, is I kind of feel like I'm stuck at home. So if you want to take a few minutes to either write down some words or draw some pictures about a time that you felt like you were stuck. So it can be a time where you were actually stuck, or maybe you were just stuck on a certain school problem or math problem, or maybe you were literally stuck at the airport, or you're feeling stuck at home right now like I am. You can certainly write about that. So take a few minutes, really write in your journals. Remember, those journals are for you guys at home to write about or draw pictures about anything you want. You can feel free to share your journals with mom or dad. But moms and dads, if you're watching this, remember those journals are for them. So if they don't want to share with you, that's okay too. It's kind of like their private place where they share their feelings. So it's kind of up to them what they want to do with their journal writing. So go ahead and take a few minutes to do that. And while you're doing that, or if you want to finish that up and then come back to the video, you can too. I'm going to read one of my favorite books today. Maybe your teacher has read this in school before, and the book is actually called Stuck. And it's by Oliver Jeffers. He's a great kids author. He's written a few other books that I'm sure you guys have read as well. But today we're gonna write this book, Stuck, and we're gonna kind of talk about it. It's just a fun, silly story. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. Remember, I'll read the page and then I'll share the book with you, the illustration as well. So it's called Stuck. It all began when Floyd's kite became stuck in a tree. He tried pulling and swinging, but it wouldn't come unstuck. So this is Floyd. His kite got stuck in a tree. Maybe that's happened to you guys before. The trouble really began when he threw his favorite shoe to knock his kite loose. And then that got stuck too. So he took off one of his favorite shoes. He tried to throw it into the tree to loosen the kite, and then that shoe got stuck in the tree with his kite. So he decided to throw his other shoe to knock down his favorite one, and unbelievably, that shoe got stuck in the tree as well. In order to knock down his other shoe, Floyd fetched Mitch. Wait till you see who Mitch is. His cat. Cats get stuck in trees all the time, but this was getting ridiculous. So Floyd fetched a ladder. He was going to sort this out once and for all. So there's Mitch stuck in the tree with the shoes and the kite. And now here's Floyd. He went to get a ladder. Now what do you think he's going to do with that ladder? Well, he threw the ladder in the tree. And I'm sure you can guess what happened next. The ladder got stuck in the tree too. The ladder was borrowed from a neighbor and would definitely need to be put back before anyone noticed. And in order to do so, Floyd thought he should fling a bucket of paint at it. But wouldn't you know it, the bucket of paint got stuck too. So there he is, throwing the bucket of paint and it getting stuck in the tree. Then Floyd tried something else. A duck to knock down the bucket of paint. A chair to knock down the duck. His friend's bicycle to knock down the chair. The kitchen sink to knock down his friend's bicycle. Floyd's front door to knock down the kitchen sink. So there he is, throwing all these things in the tree and nothing is helping. Everything keeps getting stuck. The family car to knock down their front door. The milkman to knock down the family cat. And last but not least, an orangutan to knock down the milkman, who surely had somewhere else to be. Floyd must be very strong. A small boat to knock down the orangutan. A big boat to knock down the small boat. A rhinoceros to knock down the big boat. A long distance truck to knock down the rhinoceros. A house across the street to knock down the truck. A lighthouse to knock down the house no longer across the street. A curious whale in the wrong place at the wrong time to knock down the lighthouse. And they all got stuck in the tree. A fire engine was passing by and heard all the commotion. The fireman stopped to see if they could help. Can we help? And up they went. First the engine, followed by the firemen. One by one, Floyd threw them in the tree. And there they stayed, stuck between the orangutan and one of the boats. Firemen would definitely be noticed missing, and Floyd knew he was going to be in big trouble. Then he had an idea. He went to find a saw. He lined it up the best he could, and then he hurled it at the tree. And that was it. There was no room left in the tree, and the kite came unstuck. Floyd was delighted. He'd forgotten all about his kite and put it to use immediately, enjoying the rest of his day very much. That night, Floyd fell asleep exhausted. Though before he did, he was sure there was something he was forgetting. And there everyone else is still stuck out in that tree. Hang on a minute. I've got a great idea, said the fireman. And that is the story of Floyd in the book Stuck. I really like that story. It's kind of silly, obviously, but he had a problem. He was stuck, right? His kite was stuck in the tree and he didn't know how to figure it out. So he tried to get the kite unstuck and he was able to eventually do it. He was pretty determined. That's a fancy hat word, determined. It kind of just means that he wasn't going to give up till he got that kite back. So sometimes when we're feeling stuck, we need to really be determined and stay determined and not give up until we become unstuck. And sometimes I think that when we feel stuck, we can get kind of frustrated and upset and angry and just not, we're all like this. And that's when we really need yoga, because we don't want to feel like this, right? Our shoulders up by our ears and our fists like this and our face looks all like, argh. We want to be nice and relaxed. So when we're feeling stuck and we're starting to feel that frustration, that kind of like, I can't do this moment, we want to stop and take a moment to really do a lot of nice breathing and remind ourselves not to give up, but it's okay to take a break. Breaks are helpful. So when you take a break from something, it doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're just kind of walking away to kind of clear your head so that when you come back to that problem that you're stuck on, you can think a little bit better and you're not so frustrated. And then that usually helps us become unstuck. So today we're going to do some balancing poses in yoga, because when we're trying to balance, we really have to concentrate and focus. And when we're concentrating and focusing on our yoga poses, it kind of helps us forget about other things that are going on in our life. So when you're feeling a little stuck or a little frustrated, it helps to do balancing yoga poses, because it kind of keeps our mind off what's going on, and it kind of just helps us like focus and breathe. And then when we go back to what we were working on, we can do it with a little clearer mind. So we're going to do some poses. I'm going to show you a couple new poses today. One we're going to do is tree pose, because the kite was started to be stuck in the tree. And tree pose is a balance pose as well. So we're going to start off doing tree pose, and it can be done a lot of different ways. I'm going to scoop back. I'm going to take my yoga block with me because I'll need it in a minute. But a tree pose is basically, you can do it a couple different ways. It's a progression. Again, that fancy hat word progression basically means you start, like if you were playing a video game, you usually start at level 1 and you have to work your way up in levels. Same thing with yoga. When you're a beginner, you're kind of level 1. And then once you get better at yoga, you're level 2 or you're level 3. So when we do tree pose, it's a balance pose, so we kickstand, we call it. So you just put your heel, so the bottom part of your foot, that heel, and you press it into your calf on your opposite leg, and it's a kickstand. So I'm kind of on my tippy toes here, and I just slide my heel in. And then we just say you grow your branches like on a tree, however you want. You can have nice big tall branches. Your branches can hang low. One branch can hang up. And one branch can hang up high too. It's completely up to you. The other progression in tree pose, or level 2 I would say, is when you're going to take the whole bottom of your foot and press it into your calf. So I'm balancing, but my weight is still mostly at the bottom half of my body, so I'm not real wobbly in this pose. And then the third level of tree pose would be to take that bottom of my foot into my thigh here, and now I'm like a little more off balance because I'm really stabilizing on that one foot. So if you press your arms out, low branches help here to start. The one thing I don't want anyone to do is to take the bottom of their foot on their knee anywhere. So the side of their knee or the front of their knee, or press into the back of the knee. So you always want your bottom of foot to either press into your calf, which is below your knee, or your inner thigh, which is above your knee, because we don't want to hurt your knee. So just make sure you're not doing that. So you can kickstand and grow your branches for your tree, or maybe your branches blow in the wind. You can take that bottom of the foot to the inside of your calf away from your knee, and again, grow your branches. Or you can pull that bottom of foot to the inside of your thigh, and you can sway your branches here. If you want, and you want to try this level 3 of a yoga pose for a tree, you can do it next to your kitchen counter. You can kind of hold on to your counter and practice. So that is your tree pose. We're gonna do a half split with our warrior 3. Now we did warrior 3 pose. That was a balance pose. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see me. I'm gonna put my yoga block out in front of me because it's gonna help with my balance. So remember, with our warrior 3, your hands come to heart center. You kind of bend forward a little bit, bend your knees, and then your one leg reaches back and you bend your knee here. So this is warrior 3. It helps if you find a spot on the floor to stare at. And then when we go into a half split, we kind of stay here, but we start to reach our fingertips towards that floor. So you can grab onto your yoga block to help for balance, or if you have that book or weight, you can hold onto it too. Or if you have that book, you can put it on your side so you can go down a little further and lift up. So you really, really have to focus, and you have to really, really concentrate there for that half split, warrior 3 to half split. So those really help us take our minds off of everything else that's going on. So we're going to do a quick yoga balance series. So we're going to actually do what I call a ladder. So when we do a ladder, it means we do a bunch of yoga moves one way, and then we reverse and do them the opposite way. So like you are climbing a ladder. So if you can remember in our book, Stuck, he went to get the ladder, and I'm sure most of you thought like I did, well, he's gonna climb the ladder to get his kite out of the tree, but instead he threw it into the tree. So if you think about a ladder, you climb up the ladder and then down the ladder. So we're gonna do all our yoga poses going up, and then we're gonna go all our yoga poses back going down. So it's kind of a fun ladder yoga balance activity here. So I want you to start. I'm gonna go sideways so you guys can kind of see the positions I am. I'm gonna have my yoga block, or if you have a book, you can use that book to balance, or that weight, or that milk carton works too that I had suggested. And we're gonna start in our chair pose. So if you remember chair, your feet are hip distance, so a little space between your legs here. You sit back like you're sitting in a chair, so I bend my knees, and then I reach my arms out long, and so my elbows are right next to my ears. So here's my chair, and then I'm just gonna reach my arms behind me. So remember, we call these airplane arms. Now we're gonna add balance here. I want you to lift those heels up and try and balance. Press into your toes, and then lower your heels down, and then come all the way up to mountain. So reach for the sky. Then I want you to bring your hands to heart center. I'm gonna face forward for right now so you can see me. So hands come to heart center, lift one knee up. Now flex your foot. Remember, a flexed foot is heel down, toes point forward. A pointed toe is when toes point down. So I want that toe flexed. So we're gonna do one-legged mountain. So lift one knee up. And this is when we're gonna go into that warrior 3, where you start to lean forward, and then one leg reaches long, hold. Remember to find a spot on the floor, and then you're gonna start to reach for that yoga block or book for half split. Lift that leg up higher. If you want, you can reach for the floor. All right, now we're gonna ladder it backwards. We're in our half split. We're gonna come to warrior three. So hands come to heart center. And then we're going to come up to that one-legged mountain. And then we're gonna come to mountain. Then we're going to come to chair with those airplane arms. Lift your heels, lower your heels, come back to chair. All right, now we're gonna do that same thing. This time we're gonna add tree pose. So we're gonna do the ladder up and ladder down, and this time we're gonna add one more pose, that tree pose. All right, so you're gonna find your chair. So you sit back, reach your hands up, elbows by ears, and then swing your hands behind you. Lift your heels, balance, focus. Lower your heels down. Come all the way up to mountain. I'm gonna turn and face the camera again. And this time we're gonna find our tree. So grow your branches however you want. Find that tree. And then hold. Bring your hands to heart center. One-legged mountain. Flex that foot. Knee is lifted here. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see me. One-legged mountain. Remember, you're gonna start to lean forward, press that leg back, warrior three, and then you're going to that half split, reach for the floor, grab that block for balance, and now we're gonna go backwards. We're gonna climb down that ladder. So hands come back to heart center, warrior three, one-legged mountain. I'm gonna turn and face you guys, flex that foot, tree pose, stay off that knee, grow your branches, come back to mountain, and then chair with those airplane arms, lift your heels, lower your heels, come back to chair. That was awesome. Let's do it one more time, a little bit faster. Okay, are you ready? You can do this. So we're gonna start in chair, airplane arms, lift your heels, lower your heels, come to mountain, reach for the sky, grow your branches, find your tree, and then come to hands to heart center, one-legged mountain, flex your foot, lift your knee, start to lean forward for that warrior three, and then reach your fingertips towards your toes or yoga block for half split. Opposite way, here we go, half split, warrior three, one-legged mountain, lift that knee, grow your tree, grow those branches, come back to mountain, chair, airplane arms, swing those arms back, lift your heels, lower your heels, and then come back to chair. One more time, I'm just gonna walk you through it. See if you can do it all by yourself. Here we go. Start in chair. Find those airplane arms. Lift your heels. Lower your heels back to that floor. Come up to mountain. One-legged mountain, lift your knees, flex your foot. Now grow your tree, grow your branches. Hands to heart center, warrior three. Reach for your toes, half split. And then back to warrior three. One-legged mountain. Grow your branches. Mountain. Chair, airplane arms. Lift your heels. Lower your heels. Come back to chair. And then come back to a nice sitting position here. So you should be feeling nice and focused and unstuck right now. Bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes and just take some nice breaths in and out. In through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and then open your eyes. Reach way up high to the sky, and then bring your hands down by your side. Press that left hand down, reach your right arm up and over. And then right hand comes down, take your left hand, reach it up and over. Bring it back down. Just set your hands in your lap. Close your eyes and just breathe. Remember when you're feeling a little stuck, these are some great yoga poses you can do, because when we're doing our balance poses, it kind of takes our mind off everything else. We can also just always focus on our breaths, our breathing. Remember when you're feeling stuck and you need a moment to walk away from something, remind yourself that that is not giving up. That is doing what's best for you. When you're feeling frustrated, you should walk away. You should take some deep breaths. You should do some yoga poses. And then you should come back and get yourself unstuck, because we don't give up on things. All right, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.